For staying with us, we're still on this Ijanikin matter, and we're having another parent join the conversation. Mr. Pius Soje is also one of the petitioners. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning.
I'm sure you've been listening into all the conversation. Could you give us an idea of your own angle to this? Because we understand very clearly that your own child was not suspended. But tell us what happened from your own end, from your understanding.
Okay. Fortunately for me, my child has graduated.
Okay.
But this issue arose sometime in 2022. Now, I just want to give a very clear analysis of what has happened. Now, in the PTA, we have a Telegram platform. That Telegram platform has the chairman and other parents. Now, it also has teachers in that platform. Mm-hmm. Now, it has the principal who represent the Federal Ministry of Education on that platform. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, when we wanted to have this AGM, we requested for the accounts. We kept on asking, give us the account, let us know what we are coming to meet at the AGM. The PTA refused. I said that without bias. The PTA refused. Now, on the day of the AGM, they threw a figure at us. And my position was that, please, you cannot ask me to adopt expenses that I have not seen. Of course, they did whatever they wanted to do. They adopted, and they sent out the audited account. So, on that audited account, we came back to the platform. Now, like I said earlier, that platform has representative of everybody, both the Federal Ministry of Education. We came back to the platform and we raised issues. First, we raised the issue of salary increase because the PTA has said there was no new recruitment and there was no increase in salary. So we asked, how did this money move? We also raised the issue of debtors, which became outrageous. We raised the issue of prep dues. Now, on that audited account, there is a provision. The PTA had agreed that to support the school and the teachers who go extra time to supervise the children at the prep, PTA should take out money from the dues we have collected and give to the school to support the teachers. Now we discover that when we resumed, they asked us to pay 500 naira per child for prep. So we paid. Now, when we now saw this this account, we now ask, we have paid 500 naira per child. How come the PTA is still spending that huge amount of money for the prep? You can't have two expenses for prep. Please give us explanation. We also raised the issue of religious due, 500 naira per child. We raised the issue of sports, 500 naira per child. We raised these issues, and to be very sincere to everybody, what we ask is, explain. Give us explanation. If the PTA had come to say sorry, that 500 naira, the money from the PTA allocation was not enough, so we said we should add to it. We were not able to meet before we raised that amount. Well and good. No explanation. Now, parents started raising the issue that if explanation is not given, this matter will be escalated. I personally recall clearly what I said that day on that platform. I said, please respond to these allegations, because if they bring these allegations before the regulatory body like EFCC, you can't explain. Explain these allegations now. First, I was muted. Immediately I said that. Then secondly, I was removed from the platform. So after that, they went on and said, well, we can do whatever we want to do. So I told myself that, look, if the platform where the principal that represent the Federal Ministry of Education is, other officials are there, the principal who represents the Federal Ministry of Education cannot call the PTA chairman and say, look, explain these figures to these people. They have a right because I pay dues. They have a right. Explain these figures to these people.
Mr. Soje,
sir,
let me come in here for a second because in a democracy, they say it's usually the majority carries the vote. And so if you're in a meeting, an AGM, where, as you said, questions were raised, and according to the comrade who sits next to you, said, we explained some of these things. Yeah, maybe it wasn't acceptable to everybody. But if majority had said, we are okay with the books, please go ahead and pass it. When 3 people or 4 parents now say, oh, we object, and because of that, we're going to bring it to the platform, do you think it was appropriate for you to have brought it into the platform, or found a way at the AGM to raise and insist that it shouldn't be passed until all of you, there was a consensus? Don't you think?
There was not, let me just clear it, there was not an issue of majority agreeing. Okay. Now, look, what happened at the AGM is this. When we raised the issue, it became very rowdy. Of course, we all know what happens in this kind of situation. Somebody was called upon, and the person stood up and said, I adopt. And that person was called upon, and the person said, I support. It's not as if it was put to vote whether we should adopt or we should not adopt. They called one person. Of course, I'm not the person who will call the people who will adopt. Those of them at the high table, the chairman and others, just pointed at somebody. The person raised up his hand and said, yes, I adopt. Another person, yes, I second. So, if you ask me clearly, that thing was done by 2 people. It was not put to vote.
Let me let Comrade respond to you. He's next to you. Comrade, you've heard Mr. Soja.
Mr. Soji, yes.
Mr. Soji, yes, make his own explanation. Please try to respond to this.
Thank you. You see, all these lies will never help anybody. When we have meetings, I'm happy you said it, that the minority will have a say and the majority will have their way. That day, when they wanted to disrupt the meeting after we have explained everything, we now call for motions. Somebody stood up and moved the motion for the adoption. Somebody seconded, and specifically to God who made me, asked for counter motion. They couldn't move it because it was clear to them they are going to lose. They didn't move anything, so it was adopted. And on the EFCC's case, said we have embezzled or we have misappropriated 80 million naira. As at the time they petitioned the EFCC, all the income that came in were not even up to 80 million naira. It's in the public domain of the EFCC. We pay staff salary of about 3.5 million naira every month. And I want to imagine, even by the time they petitioned, when you look at the salary we have paid and all the interventions we have made in the school, we see that all the were frivolous. They couldn't support it, of course. At the end of the day, it will come to nothing. My only concern now is the innocent child. That is Elusogbon's boy, very brilliant boy, who would have even been senior prefect anyway. But you can see.
Comrade Shala, you can't say you are concerned about the students.
I am.
No, sir. Sir, please.
That's
At this time, you would have stepped in. You would have found a way to explain to the school that the activities of the PTA should not affect the students. That's what is supposed to be your job as the chairman in the first place. So you can't sit here and say that you are feeling for the child when this child is not allowed. His name was taken away from people who are going to be writing WAEC.
Wow.
If this child was your child and was suspended, would you sit down and say you feel concerned about the child? Or would you have done something about it?
They came in. They came into the school because of their children. If their children are not in the school, they would have been part of the school. You understand? So I explained this to you. Of course, we met at the EFCC office sometimes, and something they asked us to do informal discussion among ourselves. She knew what they told her about the petition itself, but I don't want to dabble into it. Time will vindicate everybody. We know who's guilty and who is not.
Sir, you didn't answer my question. You are saying they came into the school because of the children. So should the innocent children suffer for what is going on in the PTA? I just want to get that clarity.
No, it's unfortunate, like I said. You understand? It's unfortunate because the lawyer is beside me here, and I have an element of law in me as well anyway. That's what we call vicarious liability. You understand? That is what she has brought for her child. Because the ministries, whatever, is very clear about it.
Comrade.
There are processes to follow. You didn't follow the process,
Comrade.
Yes, please.
In our country where we are promoting education for all children, vicarious liability extends to somebody's child in a school where fees are paid and you said the child is an exemplary child.
Fees were not
and you
paid.
say a lawyer advised
Fees were not paid. They've not paid fees for this term.
Because they've been suspended now before the fees.
They were
didn't
not
allow them
allowed
to pay
continue
any fees.
education. In a school, they were enrolled from JS1 to SS2.
Yes.
September, that child did not do first term. You sit comfortably and said vicarious liability extends to a child from their parents' actions.
The child did first
I
term.
can't understand you.
The
Just
child
a moment.
did first term.
Another thing I want to ask, because help me with an AGM again. So you raise an issue of 1, 2, 3 naira at an AGM.
Yes.
Everybody do not agree, but then 2, 3 people are voting and saying, I adopt, I concur, and all of that. And does it mean that that corruption has wiped out the paper until you answer with the figures and facts about how numbers were missing?
I'm answering to the EFCC, ma. All the documents, relevant documents have been submitted.
While the EFCC is investigating, the child should be in school. I don't understand.
But I've just told you the circular from the ministry. I don't run the school.
I wish the Ministry of Education is here. I want to see the Federal Ministry of Education come and justify how they are promoting child education compulsorily in Nigeria by removing a child, suspending a child first term. We're in second term, second week, first week of second term.
Please, ma.
Please,
ma. On the issue of money being collected, the school collected money. I don't know why they are burdening with the PTA. The 500 that they are talking about, the school collects, not the PTA. They didn't pay through the PTA account.
Can I come in, please?
Comrade, please. Okay.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Pius.
Yes, you see, when this discussion started, I really didn't want to introduce myself as a lawyer. I heard comrades say that there was he raised an issue of counter motion and nobody could move counter motion. Yes. Please, if anybody could move a motion, it's a lawyer.
What's wrong with the volume?
Because that is my calling. So my concern in this issue is that, unfortunately, the Federal Ministry of Education is not here. My concern here is this. Just as has been said, if there are issues in the account, and I heard comrades say that they did not follow proper procedure. I really want to correct that wrong impression. Now, like I said from the onset, that platform has the principal, who is a director, representing the Federal Ministry of Education. They have teachers. If I raise a complaint on that platform where the FME is adequately represented, and somebody comes to say that I have not raised a proper platform, am I supposed to carry a placard and go to the minister's office and say, this is what I am saying? The principal is there. She represents the Federal Ministry of Education. And I have raised issue on the platform. What stops the principal? That is because I'm asking, what stops the principal, who is representing the Federal Ministry of Education, from saying, please, Mr. Chairman, this is a PTA issue. The parents are PTA members. They have paid their dues. Can you just explain what happened here to them? And that ends it. Finish. Then they turn around. I'm sure if my son had not graduated, they would have done the same thing. They turn around and come to say that a child is suspended because of a petition pending at EFCC. A child is suspended because parents complain that, look, EFCC come and investigate this financial problem. So a child who is supposed to write SSC, has been suspended.
All his life.
Funny enough is that child cannot enroll in any other school. He cannot enroll in any other school.
Not victimize the child.
Can I ask, comrade, please?
Yes.
Could you help me see what I'm seeing? Like, there's a conflict of interest here. You are the chairman of the Parents Teachers Association. You are meant to represent parents as well, the interests of the parents and their children in the school. Now a child who you've agreed, shouldn't be sent out of school, has been sent out of school, and you haven't done your job in protecting that child. Do you think you should still be the chairman? Because in this case, it seems that, there are conflicting interests right now. Would you just rather maybe align with the school right now and allow someone who is able to put the child first, the interest of the child first, to step in just for this period? And then secondly, doesn't it do you justice if you responded, you know, to these allegations of discrepancies, you know, your integrity, your name, your person, you're sitting on television right now, and people are hearing that there are discrepancies concerning funds. And we have yet to hear anyone say they have received something tangible from you or from the PTA showing how this money was spent.
Thank you. You are aware that we had an AGM where we explained everything. They asked questions, and the account was certified correct. So if some group of parents after now rabble-rousing up and down, it doesn't bother me again. The account has been passed. You understand? And when they went to the EFCC, fine. Are you aware they went to court too? They took this school to court.
Sure.
It's still pending here.
Are you working for the school, comrade?
I'm not.
Are
I'm
you working
explaining.
for the school?
See, I will tell you the way I feel. I can't be, you know, you need to give room to both parties to
Yes.
hear their opinions.
Right. Go ahead, go ahead.
So I'm saying, in essence, is, are you aware of that which is against the Federal Ministry of Education that owns the school? It's not a private school, it's a public school owned by the Federal Ministry of Education, and they regulate it, our conduct and everything. So if you, out of your own volition, decided to go against those guidelines, well, you should be ready to...
I have a question, comrade, for you. But
Yes.
I mean, this might not even be pertaining to the case, but I'm just trying to wrap around my brain. Why are parents paying school fees? I don't understand it. Maybe this is already an indictment on the federal government on itself. Why is the PTA the one collecting funds to pay teachers? I have an issue with that. I don't understand.
We don't. They don't. You see, the ministry, they have more than 200 teachers in that school. It's a big school relatively.
Okay.
Our own issue, they are not recruiting the federal government. So in areas, subject areas that there are lapses, now they come to the PTA to employ those teachers. Of course, we give them pittance compared to what the ministry pays. But just to fill that gap, that's what we've always been doing. The lady sitting there, among those we say, oh, don't employ more teachers, don't do this, don't increase salary, even in this situation of things, that things are like this. You see, it's only God that is perfect. And they know that we don't have any skeleton in our cupboard. We are not afraid of anything. That's why we took everything to the EFCC. The case in court, there was a circular from the ministry that any parent that takes the school or PT or anything to court without resolving it internally, this child should be suspended till the issue is resolved either in court or with the EFCC. It's very clear about that. Like I said before, I'm an activist, and I know what it is. I am a human rights crusader. But my hands are tied here, definitely.
I like that you mentioned that. So you're saying categorically that there's a rule of the federal law.
Federal Ministry of Education, yes.
Federal Ministry of Education
Yes,
has a
please.
punitive rule if a parent were to raise an issue in court
Yes.
over their
Against
child.
the child.
Yes.
Against the child. In
Until it is resolved, the child should not be in
Okay,
the
so
school.
that's I'm going to wait for the Federal Ministry of Education to respond. Okay. Also, you said that at the AGM, the financial misappropriation was answered. It was cleared and certified.
Cleared and now the account
by
approved.
who, sir?
By who?
You said?
By who? Who
By
cleared
parents.
it?
When we ask for motion and counter, you know when there are disagreement like that, to solve it, you ask for motions and counter motions. That was
You're
what I
saying
did.
motions and counter motions
Yes,
clear
please.
figures miscalculations.
No.
So a person just raises a motion and says it's not 2 naira, it's 5 naira.
Please.
And the person counters the motion and says no, it's 3 naira. Failure to counter clears the...
No. They raise questions and we explain those where they are not clear about.
Do you have books about monies paid? Because, you know, when monies are paid, there should be books.
Of course, the record.
Okay, so did you make the books public?
You said?
Did you make your books public when
Yes,
the questions were raised?
in the accounts, of course, in the
And
accounts.
when they
How much came
Wait,
in?
let me get Mr.
And how
Piles to
much was
confirm. Let me get
expended?
Mr. Piles. He said that they made the books available. Did you receive it? Let me also come to you, ma. Did you get the books?
No.
You didn't get it.
No book.
Mr. Piles,
There is no book. You see, there is no book. I mean, for crying out loud.
There's no book.
What I have said, and I will keep saying, is this. Fortunately, you see, when this issue comes up, they raise election. But for me, Pius Soji, nobody could raise issue of election about me. So that is clear. The question I've always asked, Oga, I pay dues, PTA dues, every term. Please give me the explanation.
Okay.
Now, I ask this question. If I ask for explanation, why will you remove me from the platform for asking for an explanation? A man who, if it is clear, today now if you accuse me that I have stolen money, and I know that I did not do anything, I will tell you, These are the figures. Take.
Go and confirm.
I will place it on the platform everywhere. Copy to anybody. Just go and confirm. When you finish.
I have to go on a break because I have one more parent in the studio that needs to come in. So let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll bring in the third parent. And I'll step down, Mr. Olusogbon. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.